Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I'm going to be going over once and for all how much spell hit you need in Wrath of the Lich King. So many questions about how much spell hit do you need. See some people 6%, 5%, 4%. What's the darn number, Zar? How much hit do we need? It's actually not quite a simple answer, so we're going to take this video to explain exactly how much spell hit you need. So here's my character right now. I'm sitting at about 6.71, and that begs the question, well, why do you have so much hit, or why do you not have more hit? Well, here's the answer. Let's bring out the old trusty notepad to answer this one. So, PvP, PvE, separate hit caps. Let's cover PvP first. So in PvP, you're going to have a soft cap of 4%. Shout out to my friend Snuts for kind of sharing this info with me, by the way. We have a soft cap of 4%. So if you have 4% hit, you'll never miss on another target. And you're like, okay, well, why are you making a whole video about this? Because that's not all. You have an additional 2% hit cap required against Blood Elf. So plus 2% versus Blood Elf. Belf for short, okay? Magic resistance, guys, reduces the chance you will be hit by spells by 2%. This is a passive that only Blood Elves have. So if you do not have an extra 2% versus Belf, say so you only have 4% hit, you fight a Blood Elf, your spells have a 2% chance to miss. It's like, okay, well that's not good. Having said that, mages do generally play Arcane Focus in PvP to give your arcane spells an extra 3% hit. This is not all spells. I actually thought it was myself, but apparently it's only arcane spells, 3% chance to hit. Okay, so if you are playing Arcane Focus and you have 4% from your talents and 3% from arcane spells, you'll never miss a Silence or a Poly against a Belf, but you could still miss a Deep Freeze or an Ice Lance. So if you want to cover yourself versus Belfs, you'd want to be 6%. And you're like, okay, that seems simple enough. Well, 4% versus, you want 4% more versus Sub-Rogues. Why? Well, Sub-Rogues have a talent in the Sub-Rogue tree called Heightened Senses. And it's 2 points, 2% each. Reduces the chance you are hit by spells by 2% and then another 2%. So that's 4% against spells and ranged attacks. So it's like, okay, well, another 4% versus Sub-Rogues. Now, God forbid if it's a Belf Sub-Rogue, you're actually going to need another, 4% plus 2% plus the 4%. So versus Sub-Rogues, you're going to need 8% hit if you never want to miss any of your abilities. And then against a Blood Elf Sub-Rogue, you're going to need actually 10% hit to never miss a Blood Elf Sub-Rogue. Now, having said all of that, Arcane Focus does apply here. So if you want to never miss Polymorph against a Sub-Rogue, you would technically only need 5% hit, plus the extra 3 would go to 8. You'd still, if you fought a Blood Elf Sub-Rogue, have a 2% chance to miss, though. All right, that's not all. So this is why it's not a simple answer, right? Paladins also have something called Divine Purpose, and this is in the Retribution tree. Reduces the chance to be hit by spells in a range by 2%. 2 talents, so 4% total. So another 4%. Whoops, no, don't delete that. Another 4% versus Ret Paladins. Okay, so against Ret Paladins, you're gonna need 8% hit, and then of course, if it's a Blood Elf Ret Pally, you're gonna need 10% hit once again. Okay, now that's pretty much most of the picture for PvP. Keep in mind, mages generally don't play Precision in PvP for the 3% hit because there's other better talents. We have a full talent video for that. So it's like, well, now it begs the question, how much hit do I play? Well, 4% is pretty good, but I generally would maybe aim for like 5 or higher. The reason 5 is kind of nice is because now at least your polys and your counter spells aren't gonna miss versus Rets, Sub-Rogues, Belfs. The only thing you're going to miss against is a Belf Sub-Rogue or a Belf Ret Pally, and it's going to be pretty darn rare. And most rogues don't play Belf. Ret Pallies do, but, it's just like how much do you want to hedge against missing against a specifically Blood Elf Ret versus all the other stuff you're going to be fighting. So, yeah, if you can get more than that, like I'm at 6.71% hit because I got this great staff of the Nexus with a ton of hit. I got my tier 7 legs with a good amount of hit, so I actually have like a decent amount of hit. So I'm at 6.71. You add 3 to that, I'm at 9.71 on arcane spells. So I'm almost never missing, even against a Blood Elf Ret or a Blood Elf Rogue, with Polymorph. Now I am going to miss Deep Freezes or Ice Lances or Frost Bolts, damaging abilities from time to time, anything that's not arcane, from time to time against a Rogue and a Paladin. What can you do? Not much. Right? I mean, I could go for even more hit, but I think sitting at around 6% hit is looking pretty solid. So that's PvP. The way PvE works is it's a little more straightforward. So for PvE, you have heroics at 6% hit. All right, you want 6% hit for heroics. PvE raids, you want 17% hit. And that is a lot of hit, but I'll explain it here in a second. And then I guess that's really it for PvE. You have heroics and you have raids. Here's the thing about PvE. Generally in a raid, you're gonna get 3% hit from a Shadow Priest or a Moonkin in the raid group. So generally, you're gonna take 3% right off the top of the 17%. Next thing is, generally, if you're playing a Frost PvE build, which most people don't play, except me, Omegalol, you take another 3% hit off from Precision. If you're playing Arcane, Arcane Focus is 3% hit for your Arcane spells, and Precision, you usually play an Arcane as well for another 3% off. So you could take off another 3% so 3% from Precision, 3% from Arcane Focus, 3% from that Shadow Priest. So boom, boom, boom. Now all of a sudden, oh man, math is going to be real hard in this situation. Is that 8% left? Looks like there's only 8% left. So 8% required hit for Arcane. It looks like it's 11% required, or 11% just hit for Frost. Okay, so that's kind of what it's looking like for PvE. You need 6% in heroics, 8% in raids for Arcane, 11% in raids for Frost, assuming you have the right talents and you're playing with a Shadow Priest. So for the heroics though, same thing. You need 6% hit. You can get, if you're playing 3% with Precision and 3% with Arcane Focus, technically, I believe you don't need any hit if you have it all through talents. Having said that, you're generally, if you're a PvEer, going to gem and gear for raids, and heroics will be more of an afterthought. So no one really thinks about heroics and like, oh, let me drop hit for heroics. But if you have two different pieces of gear, say like, you know, like this haste neck and then this hit neck, you could probably swap out certain hit gear if you want to bring your hit lower to maximize your heroic damage, because you don't need as much hit rating. Having said that, does it really matter? Probably not. So for fire, I haven't really looked into a lot of the fire builds, but I do think one of the best fire builds is the Frost Firebolt fire build. With the Frost Firebolt fire build, you are going to go Frost for Precision, so you're going to get an extra 3% hit from Precision, but you're not going to obviously benefit from Arcane Focus because you're not an Arcane Mage, and then you go Fire Talons for the rest. So with that logic, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't played any Fire, it would be 11% hit for Fire as well. Okay, so 11% hit, all you have to do, I mean, for me, I just swapped to my PvE set, and I'm at 11.82% in my PvE gear, and that brings me actually a little bit more hit than I need for my raids and for heroic, so we'll be totally good in that. If I wanted to, I could even think about reducing that hit amount by just a little bit if I have any extra hit gems. Doesn't look like it, so that's kind of just what it lands at with Great Staff of the Nexus and some of this PvE gear on. But as I min-max a bit more, I might be able to reduce that hit a little bit more. So yeah, guys, to summarize, you need the 6% for heroics, you need 17% for raids, and PvP soft cap is 4%, but that changes depending on what you're fighting. 2% extra versus Belfs, 4% extra versus Sub-Rogues, 4% extra versus Ret, and of course these can stack, so to hedge against that, you can go up to 6-7% hit in PvP, and in PvE, it just depends on how you want to do your gearing, etc., and what spec you're playing. But generally, you want 11% hit for Frost, 11% hit for Fire, 8% hit for Arcane, and you should be covered in Raids and Heroics. Guys, that's the video. That's why it needed to be a video. So many people are asking this question on stream or just like in my DMs, like, hey man, like how much hit? And I'm like, how much time do you have? Because we need like a 10-minute video to break this down for you guys properly. Because this is not straightforward. I actually kind of like the game like this though. I love theory crafting and min-maxing all these numbers and trying to figure out exactly, you know, the best gearing and stuff like that. Or maybe it's just the way I'm used to playing WoW because I grew up playing this way. Regardless, guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.